Okay, well, thank you for coming. For those that didn't show up, fuck you, we didn't want you anyway. But I appreciate your coming out.
Still not here yet.
Ordered extra copies so everybody can buy one for their mother-in-law as well. So there you go. So I'd like to start by reading the first chapter, which kind of sets things up a little bit. What's it called? This book is called The Browser, and it's all about, well, I can't tell you because you have to listen and find out. All right. Here we go. Sunrise delivered a new day to the city of Hilltown Eye, and Puss Titter kissed the cat Akron goodbye before leaving her studio. She walked uptown towards the cat museum, secure in the contour of her guise, wearing a crown of artificial winter roses as blue as the frost pitched on a smooth lawn facing a river. Puss Titter's pleasant passage beamed over those around her, and compliments followed the young woman like a rich linguistic philanthropy. It was as though a divine satellite of ecstatic geniality orbited the realm of her curious existence. Her procession up Wenke Korsakoff Boulevard led towards the Church of the Highly Unlikely, originally built by black men as a tower against the allied host of prejudice. In front of it stood the deacon, a black Rastafarian named Ras Pudding, whose clothes were made by white tailors, the hat on his head manufactured by white hatters, and the shoes on his feet prepared by white shoemakers. To some, it would seem impossible for him to be respected as a black person while being so reliant upon white men for the necessaries of life. But he felt that such commerce made white people more dependent on him. At any rate, through the constant intake of marijuana, he believed he had received the blessings of Jah. And when Ross Pudding smoked, he sent his prayers and devotion as though hugging the wind, reverence forming in the blustery atmosphere of his clothes. Puss Titter put a dollar bill in his hand, this daily ritual being the least she could do, for there was nothing the Rastafarian could put in any bank but a surplus of his own inertia. Logging the sidewalk, blinkered families flaunted their affection with triflings like the gabble of chickens. So when the art dealer Mr. Outway appeared from the crowd with his speedy hustle, Puss Titter eagerly walked alongside him. He was a renowned art dealer, broadcasting the fiscal self-assurance of a man who has survived a series of financial massacres by denying himself a clear picture of the butchery. They were good friends, and usually this pair spoke unhindered. But today, Mr. Outway seemed distant, as though hobbled by some unpleasant recollection. At Kleptocrat Boulevard, he set off in his own direction, threading through the throng that parted as if to avoid a looming object. After all, one can see straight on a road, but only here around its corners. Puss Titter swept past the street urchins standing in the crowd with their palms outstretched for the button coinage of the poor, breaking the human waves like the footings of a decrepit pier at low tide. She stopped at the Push Biscuit Cafe, where her friend Olivia stood at the counter, tall and broad like an Amazon warrior, holding Puss Titter's espresso at the ready. She returned Puss Titter's praise as though instructed to increase customer satisfaction by any means, and they chatted with no interest in anything factual, preferring instead the pleasant subject of themselves. Olivia confessed to her belief that every woman is a revelation of private strengths, but she still feared the small mice creeping about the cafe. Puss Titter supposed that she was the only one who knew the correct opening bars of a particular theme song and insisted on humming it. Back on the street, Puss Titter kept her eye on the washerwomen watering their linens in the commonly used cream area. Even though the sight of hard labor bothered her, and she considered it akin to physical injury from a bat or another's body. Puss Titter pressed forward through the commuters with mechanical determination, soon reaching Rue Grande as she strode in her own private weather towards the God-blessed and man-preserved wonder, the Cat Museum. Yeah, the Cat Museum. Don't you wish there was one of those in LA?
There isn't? Well, let's go.
Well, let's go.
Yeah. Why isn't there one?
The exhibitions within the museum featured paintings and sculptures about cats, items built for cats, and even objects made by cats. The museum's collection was built on a foundation of ancient and noble works, but its selection of contemporary masterpieces obliged the museum to remain open 24 hours a day to accommodate the multitude of visitors. The spectators moved eagerly, as those suffering deficient existences that could only be cured by marvelous and exquisite sights. Once inside, the guests wandered through vast galleries filled with massive cat figures commissioned by the satraps of pharaonic Egypt, and rooms of jeweled kitten statues requisitioned by ancient Chinese sovereigns. Prehistoric cave paintings of cats were displayed on actual cavern walls, shipped complete from islands disputed by Vietnam. The hallways were lined with paintings of village streets, sea views and tavernas that featured cats going about their business as naturally as if they were humans. Other rooms displayed art and handicrafts made by cats, strange items like toothpick mousetraps, catnip cigarette holders, and priestly vestments made from fur balls. The crowd seethed through the separate galleries, its density lessening, but not its sense of purpose, for the common goal uniting all visitors to the Cat Museum was to see a single world-famous painting, Dude Descending a Staircase by the artist Anthony Ausgang. Well, we're going to get meta. We're going to get meta. Regarded by many as the artist's finest work, the painting was conceived as a lowbrow riposte to Marcel Duchamp's masterwork, Nude Descending a Staircase. But into Ausgang, a green and yellow anthropomorphic cat descended the staircase instead of Duchamp's famous Nude. Its vibrant colors and psychedelic imagery frequently causing LSD flashbacks in some viewers. As a result, the masterpiece was obscured by drapes on the As a result, the masterpiece was obscured by drapes on the far wall of the dimly lit theater, making the spectators fumble and nudge their way through the seats before each scheduled unveiling. Most viewings passed without incident, local customs being generally respected. But the curtains were parted only 9 minutes to avoid maniacal rioting in the audience, and armed guards stood on either side of the painting. When the drapery closed and the lights went up, the audience exited through the gift shop, where souvenirs featuring reproductions of Dude Descending a Staircase were pushed on the dazed group like an intentional accident. Puss Titter defected from Rue Grande and entered the Cat Museum, making hasty passage past the Ausgang Theater to her office in the Department of Exhibitions department. There she settled in behind her desk and began attending to Monday's accumulation of the weekend's correspondence. But she needn't have bothered maintaining her sincerity regarding such a necessity, for events always occur to occupy the attentions of both sender and recipient, as she soon discovered. From the browser at assassin.biz to pusstitter@catmuseum.org. Subject, a friend wants you dead. Good day. I am very sorry for you, Miss Pusstitter, for it is a pity that this is how your life is going to end. Someone you call a friend wants you dead by all means, and the person has spent lots of money on this. I wish to let you know that I just received $75,000 to assassinate you at my convenience. I am surrounded in your house right now, watching you, and if you do anything stupid, you shall receive a gunshot. But I can spare you if you will pay me what they paid me. And I will also tell you who ordered me to kill you. You will first of all pay me an equal $75,000. Then I will send a tape to you of which I recorded every discussion I made with the person who wants you dead. If you are not ready for my help, then I will carry on with my job straight up. But you do have one chance to live again, if you can contact me not later than 24 hours after this massage. Good luck, as I await your reply. And do not think of leaving town, because I will extend it to your family and pets, in case I notice something funny. And please remember, distrust leaves happiness unfulfilled. The browser. You get it? I actually got an email that somebody had sent me telling me that a friend was going to have me paid to assassinate. So this is actually based on an email I really did get.
Was it from a Nigerian friend or anything?
Not this time.
Oh.
Having encountered internet swindles before, Pusstitter was filled with scorn for this obvious con, and she considered deleting the bogus email immediately. But she had responded to such swindles before, and knew how to switch roles and become the hunter instead of the hunted. Besides, she was fond of the stimulation. It invigorated her literary ambitions. And so Pusstitter began her cryptic reply, knowing the brinksmanship of her response mirrored and edged the few shared. That's right. Recognize that, Sean? From Pusstitter at thecatmuseum.org to the browser at assassin.biz. Really, Mr. Browser, thanks for the fair warning, but it is hard for me to believe that one of my friends wants me dead, for I cannot recall any behavior on my part that would lead to such treachery. Perhaps you have the wrong Pusstitter, although the unique nature of my family name was made clear to me on the playgrounds of my youth. Ergo, I think there is no contract out on me, and that you are full of shits. So, now that I have your attention, allow me to give you an opportunity to prove your sincerity. Tonight at 7, I will wear a crown of blue roses and stand in front of the synagogue shibboleth on Grassy Knoll Square. Take a good shot at me and make it close. Miss me by inches and give me a thrill. The Sylvan Sinker's Feather Queen, PT. Pusstitter sent the email, then relaxed in her chair, taking mental pictures of the scene around her to make sure there would be no customization of the details regarding this singular moment of reflection. Now, we're going to cut to the shit. We're going to get straight to the action. All right? Everybody ready for that? Looking dazed, ready for some serious action. So the browser at this point has responded to her email, and he has gone to the point where he has set up his sniper's perch, and he's ready to take a shot at Pusstitter. The browser woke from his dreams in the sniper's perch as the bell in St. Paul's Cathedral tolled its seventh and final time. As reality returned, so did his consciousness and sense of purpose, throwing him with maniacal insistence at the undertaking. This was the moment. He leaned his gun on the parapet like a modern-day beau geste and looked out across Grassy Knoll Square towards a synagogue shibboleth, searching for Puss Titter's singular crown of blue roses. In the plaza below him, the browser could see the mob milling about with raucous lethargy, as if directed by some mad conductor. Old men with epaulettes on their shoulders generously gave each other fraternal handshakes, and commuters making their way home pushed through groups of tourists eating the yolk in hashish cakes sold by stowaways among the antimatter. Men in Western costumes handed out coupons for free joints at the Lonesome Cowboy, while souvenir vendors invaded plots of stoners, hawking reproductions of dude descending a staircase. His scrutiny of his foam-fingered antics seemed to go on for an hour, but actually occupied a span of maybe 5 minutes. When he observed a woman in a crown of blue roses enter Grassy Knoll Square and push through the bent cleats towards the synagogue shibboleth, the browser leaned in for a closer look through the scope of his Mannlicher Carcano rifle. He was shocked by her beauty and overwhelmed by a sudden rapture that shook his body. Mindful that every occurrence fashions a memory, the browser looked over this perfect female specimen as though making a declaration of love, her appeal leaving him to wonder what reality he was in. Unsure if this was a time for action or pleasure, he put down the rifle to watch the woman move through the crowd. She stopped at the front door of the synagogue and looked defiantly into space, as if girding herself for battle. The browser felt sure the woman was Puss Titter, but there was a man following her, a gloss of perspiration coating the stranger's face and bald head as he carried a large parcel. If this was her boyfriend, he looked vulnerable enough that a near-death experience would scare him away. So the browser ground his teeth together and raised the rifle to his shoulder. In the plaza below, Puss Titter fantasized as she leaned against the synagogue's stone wall. The idea of an action voyeur spying on her filled her with a pornographic bravado, and she pouted as though unwillingly chaste, imagining the hard, warm barrel of the browser's gun entering her body. She dropped her coat so that her good looks would partner up with her dollar value. She looked over at Mr. Outway, trying to read his mind, but he gave no clues to any emotion. Even so, his tone and aura were jaded like some spent force, as though he'd suffered such an assessment before. He stood there, looking at Puss Titter and holding the wrapped painting as he waited for her to explain why they had stopped. Later, it would seem to Puss Titter that he had some special awareness he was seeing her for the last time. As Mr. Outway began to speak, Puss Titter heard the arrival of something, some ear-splitting crack of vicious white noise. There was only an instant's pause, then Mr. Outway's head exploded in a wave of blood, curling up into frail crests, alarmed bits and pieces tearing through space like shrapnel from a detonation. His face churned itself inside out with the concussive sound and fury of a war atrocity, the spray of gore menacingly succulent as it splattered on the stone wall. Guess you had to be there. In such a situation, one can act as a rational being or act on instincts and put one's own interests first. Puss Titter grabbed the wrapped painting and ran from the square, protected from any interference by the armor of her spectators' indifference. As she rushed back to the cat museum through the street's gouging swarms, Puss Titter threw away her crown of blue roses and put the coat on over her bloody dress. Once she reached Rue Grande, Puss Titter began breathing normally again. Yet she still reached in her coat pocket to stroke her dude descending a staircase keyring, hoping it would provide her desperate journey's last drop of fuel.
Wow.
Now, it's up to you guys. I can continue to read, or we can take a short break. I think we should take a break. Take a short break.
Can we take turns reading? Can we take turns reading? Everybody in here read a chapter?
Yeah, you can read.
I missed your
You can read
intro.
silently.
I missed your intro. Is this still, is this the second book that you've done on this?
This is the third book. This is the final book in my trilogy of Puss Titter.
And the one that you grab stuff from the web?
Yeah,
from
like all the
spam.
other ones, I get a lot of this is inspired by actual emails I got. I don't know when you came in, but I explained that I did get an assassination email. Somebody wrote to me and said that there was a contract out on me.
I
So
didn't.
that was sort of the genesis of the book. So this is based on weird emails that I get, spam emails.
Some of those are for me, Anthony. Some of those for me. The spam, yeah, I'm sorry.
Nice.
These would make great audio CDs. You should read these books.
Good idea.
Because I close my eyes, I said, the deliciousness with you just devour these words is pretty fantastic. That would be just a great CD.
It's almost like a what? You wrote it.
Yeah, just as if you wrote it, exactly. Almost.
What do you think? Should we take a break? Okay, we'll take a break, then I'll read some more. Did anybody have